I'm in the love business. I'm in the business of love. I'm in the love business. I'm in the business of love.
Hello, I'm Charlie,
And I'm Cody.
and this week's episode of WX4 features
Reverend Tribble and stories about his life and career. Welcome to the show, Reverend Tribble.
Well, thank you, Cody. I'm delighted to be here. Let me check my underwear. It's perfect.
All right, well, you guys are aware of what we're going to do. You're aware of what we're going to do.
Indeedio.
So let's go ahead and draw the first question.
Well,
Charlie.
I love drawing questions. I've done this every year of my life. What was the first concert you attended? The Beatles.
Really?
That's right.
where
At the newly formed Atlanta Fulton Stadium. It was one of the first shows they had. My dad took me and my little brother. I had the best dad in the world. He was a Methodist minister, and when the Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show for the very first time, February 9th, 1964, all the other adults in the town were appalled by these four youngsters from Liverpool who called themselves the Beatles. Their hair was that long, and they were singing about love. My daddy took me and my little brother Arthur to see the Beatles August 18th, 1965. And Ringo, they came out from the dugout right in front of us. Ringo turned around and looked me in the eye.
Right at you.
The Beatles.
Wow. So were they your favorite band when you were younger?
Absolutely.
They were.
the only band when I was younger.
Well,
That's
valid
not,
point.
That was being a smart aleck. They weren't. The Beach Boys have been around for 2 years,
Right.
but they certainly put being a band on the map. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right, awesome. Well, what was it that brought you to Athens?
My daddy was a Methodist minister, and in those days you moved every 4 years, and in 1970 we moved to Athens.
Awesome, cool. Charlie, have anything to say?
did those Beatles influence you to pick up the guitar?
I wanted to be, I'll paraphrase, no, I'm saying exactly what John Lennon said. He saw Elvis Presley, he saw all the girls screaming for him, and he thought, that's a good job. I saw the Beatles, and I saw all the girls screaming for them. I thought, that's a good job. But I wanted to be Paul McCartney. Before that, I pretended to be Peter Pan, then Tarzan, then James Bond. When the Beatles came along, I pretended to be Paul McCartney. But my daddy took me to a church member's house. The guy was a professional drummer. I sat behind his drums, Slingerland, and fell in love with the drums, and was a drummer until I was 14 when I wanted to be Bob Dylan.
Right. Now, earlier
okay.
you had said that it was a cardboard drum set.
That my first one was, but that was before the whole sitting behind the real drum set.
Right. But you eventually moved to that.
Indeed I did.
And then into guitar and songwriting and the
yeah.
whole process. Okay. So when was the first time you actually got into a recording studio and recorded something?
I was, would have been 13, 14. I had a band in Calhoun, Georgia called the Peace Band. I call it that because at that time, John Lennon, my hero at the time, was into the whole peace thing and the bed ends and give peace a chance, etc., etc. The Peace Band, and we recorded at a small studio somewhere in the depths of Atlanta on, what was that record label? I forget, but a local DJ
Right.
had a little record thing going on, and we made a single, and my song was called Alone, and we went to school and sold them. It was great.
Awesome. That's great. And how old were you at that point?
I think 13, 14, something like that.
Okay.
So what, 45s?
Mm-hmm. A little, and we'd take
Awesome.
them to school and sell them for $1. And
Really? How many people would buy it? Like enough?
everybody except for a couple of bullies. I wouldn't even pay you to take my thing.
Of course.
I said, okay, I got all the girls, sorry.
So what was it that made you decide to actually move to New York?
I had just left my first wife, and a gentleman had been asking me to please come to New York to play in his band. I always wanted to move to New York. It seemed exciting. And I had a great band here with Dan Wall of WX4 Records called Measure for Measure. I didn't want to leave my wife or the band, but I did leave my wife, but it seemed like the perfect thing to do, so I moved up there, and what a wild time I had!
Goodness.
Oh, boy.
Well, 2 Novembers ago, you recorded some stuff at Vega Studios.
Right.
And
I don't. How drunk was I?
No, you were great.
No.
But there was a song you recorded that night called Panty Party.
Liquored up. But it has panty party.
Panty Party, liquored up. And you had a story, and I remember it being a great story, but I need to hear it again.
Charlie, I'll say this. Any of you youngsters out there writing songs, get a job at Publix. It's the greatest songwriting. It's incredible. A mecca of song ideas. So I went into the young lady, I won't say her name. She was working at the customer service. And she'd always say, "You look like you got liquored up last night," which, of course, I did. Then she said one morning, "I'm going to a panty party tonight. We're getting liquored up." And I said, "Panty party?" I said, "What is that?" She said, "It's a, what are they, when a girl's getting married."
Lingerie party?
No, it's a shower, wedding shower.
Yeah, wedding shower.
But she called it a panty party. And she said, "I'm going to a panty party and getting liquored up." I'd written liquored up by the time I hit the register. Going to a panty party and get liquored up. Who can argue with that?
Oh,
Absolutely.
as
no
soon
one.
as that stuff hit the tape, it was
It's just-
gold. I'm telling you. Oh, man.
So the song that you performed for us today, Istanbul, is there anything you want to talk about with that, regarding that song?
It just hit me like a ton of bricks in the kitchen during my second marriage in New York City. Where it came from, I do not know, but it's just God. We come from, and it's just the best songs just hit you.
Right,
So
right.
I don't know where that came from. I never been to Istanbul. I don't know where it is. It just talks about being naked and having fun. That's what I try to convey to the world. Get naked, have fun. Whereas my dear old mom used to say, "Let's get drunk, get naked, and sing."
That's another line out of the song.
Okay.
Second verse, I think, is you go to your mom's house.
That's right. Go to my mama's house and get
That's
liquored
the
up.
second verse.
Charlie remembers the lyrics to my
Hey, man,
songs.
that song lived with me for
What more
months.
could anyone
I
ever ask?
I sung that thing for months in my head. Man,
Goodness.
You made my millennium.
I was having a good time. Oh, man.
Wow.
I forgot that.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Well, hey, we just want to thank you so much for coming up to Vega and having this short little chat with us.
Cody, thank you, Charlie. And let me just say, the
pleasure.
folks of Athens, Vega's a place to come. Come out here and record.
Yeah,
Great folks.
Thank you
I mean
so
it.
much. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
All right, well,
Reverend Tribble.
thank you guys so much for watching. Next week, same place, same time. Next up is Connor Tribble's performance of
Istanbul.
and it's also
Or
Reverend
maybe
Tribble.
love business.
Or maybe Love Business.
You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Don't wear clothes, only a hat. All our women's, they like us like that. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Sleep all day, we dance all night. Like the vampire, we hate the light. I used to have a home, a wife and kids and a telephone. I grew so weary of the routine. It made me crazy, it made me scream. So now we live together, dance and sing. We don't care whether you like us or not. We don't give a shit. We live this way until we're tired of it. You hoo, you lay 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 hoo. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. We love our peoples. You see the greatest, the best part, you know? We run around naked. We come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Sleep all day, we dance all night. Like the vampire, we hate the light. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Don't wear clothes, only a hat. All our women, they like us like that. They like us like that. They like us like that. Istanbul, Istanbul, my mama. My mama, your mama, my mama, your mama, my mama, your mama.